This is really a story about regret. It's about all the financial lessons I wish I could just go back in time and teach my 18-year-old self. The kind of stuff that could have totally changed the game for me.
This this hits hard, doesn't it? I mean, so many of us are taught that same thing. Just follow the traditional path, get good grades, land a good job, and that's your golden ticket. I had to learn the hard way that that's only a tiny little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
So, let's talk about this myth. My entire worldview about money when I was 18 was basically built on some really common, but as it turns out, totally flawed ideas about how money actually works. My core belief, and maybe you can relate to this, was that if I just managed to tuck away a little cash from my part-time job, I was being responsible. It felt like I was doing the right thing, but I realized way later that it was a purely defensive move in a game that absolutely requires a strong offense. And then there was this other side of the coin. Wealth just felt like something that happened to other people. It was either an accident of birth, a stroke of luck like winning the lottery, or you just had to be some kind of genius. The idea that it was a skill, a system that literally anyone could learn, that wasn't even on my radar. So you kind of coast along with this mindset for a while. But eventually, reality hits you. For me, it wasn't one single event, but this slow, dawning realization that was, frankly, pretty terrifying. This was the question that changed everything for me. I started looking around at my colleagues, family friends, people who were 10, 20, even 30 years older than me. They had the good jobs, they were earning decent money, but they were still living paycheck to paycheck, completely stressed about bills, and it hit me. If I just keep doing what they're doing, I'm going to end up in the exact same spot. And this right here, this is the answer. The people who were just earning weren't really getting ahead, but the people who were building wealth, they were doing something totally different. It had nothing to do with how much money was coming in. It was all about what they knew to do with that money once it got to them. That was the real game changer. So this realization sent me down a total rabbit hole where I basically had to unlearn everything I thought I knew. It all boiled down to 4 fundamental lessons. Lessons I really, really wish someone had just sat me down and explained to me back when I was 18. Okay, lesson 1 was a big one. Saving is not enough. Just putting money in a savings account, well, it's kind of like having a piggy bank with a slow leak. Because of inflation, the cost of everything going up, your money is actually losing a little bit of its buying power every single year. But investing, that's like planting a money tree. It's about making your money go to work for you. And that leads right into lesson 2, the absolute magic of compound interest. It's basically your money earning money, and then that money starts earning money too. And as you can see from this chart, it is all about time. The person who starts investing at 18, even with just a little bit, ends up light years ahead of someone who starts later, even with more cash. That 10-year head start gives their money so much more time to grow all by itself. And that's the bottom line, right there. At 18 years old, you are richer than you will ever be again in one specific currency: time. It is the one asset you can never ever get back. And every year you wait to start investing, you are giving up your single greatest advantage. Lesson 3 was about all the money I didn't even realize I was losing. Those tiny everyday expenses, the daily coffee, the subscription you forgot about, the must-have upgrade. They seem totally harmless, but they're what I call quiet killers. They're like little termites just eating away at your financial foundation. And the final lesson, lesson 4, is the one nobody tells you at graduation. Look, your degree is important, it gets you an interview, it opens a door, but that's it. From that moment on, your income isn't determined by that piece of paper on the wall. It's decided by the high-value, in-demand skills you go out and learn throughout your career. So when you put all of these lessons together, you start to see this one profound, central truth emerge. It's a complete shift in perspective that totally reframes the problem. And this was the huge realization at the heart of it all. My regret wasn't about not having more money back then. It was about not knowing how to make better decisions with the money I did have. It was a knowledge problem, not an income problem.
90%. Just let that sink in. That's roughly how many people will have to learn all these lessons the hard way. They'll spend decades figuring this out through trial and error, a ton of financial stress, and so many missed opportunities. That's the default path for most people. But here's the thing. Just by taking all this in, you've basically been handed a map. You get to skip the line. You are starting this race with a massive head start that most people never get. So the real question isn't what I wish I knew. It's what are you going to do with this advantage?